There is a monster hiding in plain sight in our solar system. For centuries, astronomers looked through their telescopes and saw a jewel, a golden giant haloed by light, floating serenely in the darkness. We named it after a god of agriculture, a symbol of plenty and peace. But we were wrong. If you could hear space, Saturn wouldn't sound like a choir of angels. It sounds like a scream. Its radio emissions are a haunting, rhythmic whistle that echoes across millions of miles. And if you stripped away that beautiful golden haze, you wouldn't find a planet at peace. You would find a chaotic engine of destruction that has been raging for billions of years. The Saturn you know is a lie. This isn't a planet. It is a graveyard, a storm factory, and a gravitational weapon. And to understand why, we have to stop looking at it like a painting and start looking at it like a crime scene. Before we descend into the chaos, make sure you are locked in. If that subscribe button is still red, hit it now. We uncover the universe's darkest secrets every week, and you don't want to be left in the dark for the next discovery. Most of us know Saturn for its rings. They are the most recognizable structure in our sky, the crown jewels of the cosmos. From Earth, they look like solid, seamless bands of light, pure, perfect, eternal. But this is the first trap. If you were to teleport inside those rings right now, you wouldn't see a smooth highway of light. You would be standing inside a blizzard of shrapnel. These aren't solid disks. They are a chaotic field of trillions of ice shards and boulders, some as small as a grain of sand, others the size of mountains. And they are all moving at thousands of miles per hour. It is a grinder, a buzzsaw slicing through the vacuum, razor thin but nearly 200,000 miles wide. But the true horror isn't what the rings are, it's where they came from. Gravity is the most violent artist in the universe. Theories suggest that long ago, a moon, a living, solid world, drifted too close to the giant. It crossed the Roche limit, the invisible line of no return. Saturn's gravity didn't just pull it in, it grabbed hold of that moon and ripped it apart. It shredded an entire world, pulling its skeleton into a spiral of debris. When you look at Saturn's rings, you aren't looking at decoration. You are looking at the scattered guts of a dead moon. You are staring at a planetary graveyard, and the destruction is far from over. Gravity is still feeding. Those rings are temporary. They are being pulled down, piece by piece, in a phenomenon called ring rain. Every second, thousands of pounds of icy matter are stripped from the rings and dumped into Saturn's atmosphere. In cosmic time, they are vanishing before our eyes. The jewel is losing its crown, but the danger doesn't stop at the rings. Below them lies the planet itself, and if the rings are a graveyard, the atmosphere is a prison. Saturn is a gas giant, which implies something soft, airy, and light. But there is nothing soft about a world that spins this fast. Saturn rotates so violently that it has flattened itself out. It is visibly squashed, bulging at the equator, spinning like a top out of control. This speed creates weather that defies earthly comprehension. On Earth, a Category 5 hurricane is a nightmare. On Saturn, it's a breeze. The winds here clock in at over 1,000 miles per hour, faster than the speed of sound, and they never stop. There is no land to break them, no mountains to slow them down, just endless, screaming wind whipping around the planet forever. And at the top of the world, this wind does something impossible. If you fly over the North Pole of Saturn, you won't see a circle. You will see a hexagon, a perfect six-sided geometric shape wider than two Earths side by side. Nature isn't supposed to make straight lines. Clouds shouldn't form sharp angles, and yet, there it is, a six-sided jet stream that has been locked in place for decades, maybe centuries. At the center of this impossible geometry is a vortex, a hurricane eye 50 times larger than any storm on Earth, diving deep into the planet's dark interior. It looks like a deep red rose, but it is a mouth that swallows storms whole. But Saturn isn't always consistent. It waits. It saves its energy. And then, roughly once every Saturnian year, about every 30 Earth years, it explodes. They are called great white spots. These aren't just storms, they are planetary convulsions. Imagine a thunderstorm that erupts in the northern hemisphere and grows so large, so fast, that it wraps around the entire circumference of the planet. The storm's head eventually catches up to its own tail. These eruptions dredge up heat and gas from thousands of miles deep, turning the calm yellow face of Saturn into a chaotic mess of white, turbulent clouds. Lightning bolts on Saturn are 10,000 times more powerful than the ones on Earth, blasting the atmosphere with enough energy to be detected across the solar system. It is a reminder that the calm exterior is just a mask. Underneath, the beast is always awake. However, the chaos of Saturn isn't limited to the planet itself. The violence has spread to its children. Saturn is the king of a large, dysfunctional family of moons, and two of them in particular tell a story of deception and hidden danger. First, there is Titan. It is the only moon in the solar system with a thick atmosphere. If you looked at it from space, you'd see a hazy orange ball. If you landed on the surface, you might think you were home. You would see rivers flowing into lakes. You would see rain falling from clouds. You would see dunes shifting in the wind. But Titan is a toxic mirror of Earth. It is minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit. The rocks are made of water ice, frozen so hard they are stronger than granite, and the rivers? That isn't water, it's liquid. Methane and ethane. It is a world where it rains gasoline. It is a familiar landscape made of alien, poisonous materials. It is a place that looks like a haven, but is chemically hostile to life as we know it. Then there is the opposite, Enceladus. While Titan wears its atmosphere like a thick coat, Enceladus is naked, a tiny, bright white ball of pure ice. It reflects almost all the sunlight that hits it, making it freezing cold. It looks dead, a frozen marble, drifting in the dark. But Enceladus is the ultimate deceiver. Beneath that miles-thick shell of ice, there is a warm, saltwater ocean. Saturn's gravity is stretching and squeezing this tiny moon, kneading its core like dough, generating enough heat to keep water liquid underground. At the South Pole, this pressure reaches a breaking point. Massive geysers erupt through cracks in the ice, shooting jets of salt water and organic compounds hundreds of miles into space. Enceladus is bleeding into the void. It is a violent process, but it carries a distinct hope. In that violent, dark ocean, shielded from the cold of space, lie the ingredients for life. Saturn is a paradox. It destroys moons to make rings, but it heats up other moons to create oceans. It is a killer and a creator. We know all of this because we went there. We sent a robotic emissary, the Cassini spacecraft, to live in orbit around the giant. For 13 years, Cassini watched the storms, tasted the dust of the rings, and flew through the geysers of Enceladus. It showed us the true face of the Lord of Chaos, but in the end, Saturn claimed the messenger too. In 2017, Cassini was running out of fuel. NASA could not risk the spacecraft crashing into Enceladus or Titan and contaminating those pristine worlds with Earth bacteria. So they chose the only option left, a warrior's death. They commanded Cassini to dive. The spacecraft turned its thrusters toward Saturn and accelerated. It didn't retreat, it attacked. It flew directly into the upper atmosphere. As it hit the cloud tops, traveling at 70,000 miles per hour, it fought to keep its antenna pointed at Earth, streaming data until the very last second. It screamed its final discoveries back to us as the atmosphere tore it apart. The heat melted its gold foil, vaporized its metal, and scattered its atoms into the winds. Saturn showed no mercy. It swallowed our greatest explorer and made it part of the planet forever. When you look up at the night sky and find that golden point of light, remember what you are really seeing. You aren't seeing a peaceful neighbor. You are seeing a gas giant spinning itself into oblivion. You are seeing a graveyard of shattered moons disguised as a halo. You are seeing a hexagon storm that defies physics, and a world that rains diamonds and gasoline. Saturn is the most beautiful thing we have ever seen, and that is exactly why it is terrifying. It reminds us that the universe does not care about order or safety or peace. It is violent, it is chaotic, and it is overwhelmingly powerful. We are just lucky to be watching it from a distance. If you want to uncover more of the dark realities hiding in our universe, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. The cosmos is full of monsters, and we're going to find them all. Thanks for watching.